Now, when you separate your certain senses, light, your eyes, from the light, and let's just say you can isolate certain sounds, taste, smell, other things to the point where the consistency of the environment, it's so limited to existence as we know that it's almost as the darkness of the sleep that you go in. And through that state, just as our brain goes into the dream, if you can reach that state without going into sleep, you would actually be able to grasp information of your environment in a different sense, with a sense that is embedded into you. We could call it the sixth sense, but it's not too known, or you don't bring too much awareness to it because our environment doesn't call the necessity for it. We've kind of pushed it away, whatever reason that is. But once you go into it, you do see there's different information flows so much more differently. And when you start separating yourself from your inner thoughts or your thoughts in general and let your brain just kind of be and ask your inner self certain questions, you start seeing certain information arise or certain answers. You have to reach a certain state within your mind. I'm not fully at that level, nowhere near, but there's certain times and places and moments that I can isolate the information and it's almost like a recall, you know? It's not like this shit is stored and I'm bringing it out my brain and and saying it to the point where I know it. Once I've learned the information, my brain kind of retracts it and brings it up when I need it, right? Like a recall. Like, what color was this thing? And then think of the thing and you think of the color, you know? But, and there's different layers to that. But I think the human mind can understand our environment on the deeper aspects, and without the limitation of how the information travels to our senses, our visual senses, our ears, because you're in tuning into now a much smaller environment within your environment, right? We are environments. This body is an environment composed of particles that are confined into the space that makes me who I am, and everything else in correlation with that operates in certain degrees. When you zoom in, you start seeing the interactions between those cells and particles and atoms and energies that cause that friction that allowed this spark of light, which is me, to reflect and be seen by you. So now, when all those other senses are taken or replaced, let's just say, or your sixth sense is activated and not being manipulated too much by those other senses, I think the perception of the environment changes so much where time is no longer the limitation. Well, what is time? We perceive time, of course, through movement, other variations of our environment through that movement display what we consider time. But when we deprive ourselves of these senses, time is no longer a variation of our environment. So you can wake up and not know what time is it, right? You don't go to sleep with a clock in your mind and you know what time is it. So it's not a necessity within that realm, only within this one. So once you snap out of it, or snap into it, time now is not a factor. So you're able to gather information that you wasn't before, whether it's seeing future events, whether it's predicting outcomes, whether it's like Edgar Cayce cured a lot of things. You see through your environment differently. And that differently comes into many interpretations. And I think as best as you have, as much as you have changed your mind to understand the interpretation of that information is how much you're able to interpret. And there's so much different depths to it and so many variations that can cause confusion. But, you know, once you guide yourself with other variables through the feelings and other senses that don't revolve around logics that are grounded around this physical environment that revolves around your five senses. Then you can see the information in different angles, different perspectives, and I think it just flows. So on that journey, and I wanted to go to the Edgar Cayce Institution in Virginia, which I've been meaning to.